From training to health concerns, navigating the journey of kittenhood requires patience, dedication, and understanding. But raising a kitten can be fun, it can be exciting, and very satisfying. Let's explore some of the common challenges faced by people raising baby kittens, and we'll offer some tips on how to overcome them. Number 1, litter box training. Now, this could be the most important item on the list because if you don't get this right when a kitten is young, it becomes very hard to correct it when they're older. Teaching a kitten to use a litter box can be frustrating, especially if they have accidents around your house. For that reason, sometimes it can be seriously challenging to your patients. Proper litter box training is essential for maintaining a clean and hygienic living environment. Let's face it, these kittens will grow up to be big cats who ideally will be sharing a home with you or another family. Problems with using the litter box can be a big reason why a cat adoption might fail, leaving this poor kitty living in a cat shelter. So how can you help to make sure that the training is successful? Remember these 3 things and implement them immediately. 1. Place multiple litter boxes around your house. With adult cats, the typical rule of thumb for how many litter boxes to use is 1 for each cat, and then add 1 more. This is a widely known formula that will ensure that Kitty is never too far from a litter box when nature calls. Number 2, use litter that your kittens prefer. You might be asking, how do you know what litter your kittens prefer? Well, let's start with the basics here. A cat's sense of smell is about 14 times greater than ours. So strong scented cat litter might be something your kittens might not like. Let's face it, the scent of the litter isn't for the cats, it's for us humans. You might be very lucky if your cat doesn't mind the scented litter, but especially early on, why test it? It's best to go with an unscented litter. If you're worried about an odor, just keep your litter boxes clean and they won't smell so badly. Also, there is some great air freshener products on the market that do an amazing job of removing all traces of litter box odors in your home. You might want to research that. But still, a litter box that has a faint odor up close is a lot better than a rug that smells because your cat refuses to use the litter box. So stick with unscented litter. And finally, if your cat has an accident, clean it up thoroughly to remove any scent markers that may attract them to come back to that same spot. This is a situation near and dear to me. When my cat Jack was young, he developed his number 1 place to do number 2. Unfortunately for us, it was on a beautiful area rug that was in my dining room. I did the best I could to clean it, but Jack kept returning to the scene of the crime to repeat his performance. After a few times, I decided to just roll it up and put it in the basement. That solved the problem, but our rug couldn't be used. I eventually had it professionally cleaned and the problem was resolved. Number 2, biting and scratching. Kittens explore the world with their teeth and their claws, which unfortunately can result in painful bites and scratches. It's important to stop these behaviors early on. If you let it persist, it'll become part of your cat's personality and a bad habit. So if your kittens start to scratch and bite, what should you do? Here are 3 tips for success to help you put a stop to this behavior. 1. Provide them with appropriate toys to chew and scratch. Use these toys to redirect their attention away from your hands and feet. It's also a good idea to avoid roughhousing with kittens that may encourage biting and scratching. It's a good rule of thumb to never use your hands directly when playing with a kitten or a cat. Instead, use a feather wand or a laser pointer or a toy of any kind. Using your hands sends mixed signals to your cat that it's okay to play rough with hands. But as soon as someone gets hurt, you will scold and yell at them, and all you're doing now is confusing them further. It's easier to just maintain a no-hands policy when it comes to playing with your cats. Use your hands to love on them, not play and rile them up. Number 3, feeding your cat. How do you find the right balance of food and properly managing their feeding schedules? This can be tricky. Proper nutrition is crucial for your kitty's growth and development. If you find yourself with a new litter of kittens and have no experience, my best advice is to reach out to your vet for advice on the best diet for your kitten's age and health. Learning about cat nutrition and how to read the labels on the back of your food is important. You would be very surprised by the ingredients in some cat foods, even some of the most well-known brands. Talk to your vet and do your own research and learn what to look for. Here's a tip. You'll want to continue your nutritional research because a cat's nutritional needs will change at different stages of life. Also, it's important to establish a regular schedule for feeding your cats and make sure not to overfeed them. Monitor your kitten's weight and make the necessary adjustments as required. Number 4, properly socialize your kittens as early as you can. Kittens aren't naturally born with any socialization skills. In fact, probably quite the opposite. Cats that aren't very well socialized with humans at an early age will tend to spend more time alone and be more suspect of people. Teaching your kittens to become well-adjusted and confident cats is crucial if you want them to build strong, lasting relationships with you and others. I learned this concept when I was looking for my first breeder almost 20 years ago. In general, home catteries make the best breeders because, well, they provide personalized care for kittens. These lucky kittens grow up as part of a real family. There's no better method of socializing a kitten than that. A family, kids come home from school, playing with the kittens, making very important early connections with them. Contrast that with kittens who are raised in a pet shop. You can see how these kittens would be disadvantaged. So if you're raising these babies, play with them, interact with them, and make them part of your family as quickly as you can. That said, respect your kitten's boundaries by not forcing them to do things that make them naturally uncomfortable. A little bit of kindness and patience will go a long way here. Number 5 are the health hurdles. Young kittens are susceptible to a range of health issues, from different parasites to infectious diseases. It's important to keep an eye on your kitten to make sure that they stay healthy. Cats aren't going to show you when they're sick and not feeling well. By the time they do show you, they can be extremely sick. This is instinctual behavior in cats left over from their wild ancestors. In the wild, if a cat looks sick, well, they quickly become the target of predators. And so a cat will do everything in its power to look normal for as long as possible. The best way around this is to get to know your kittens well so that you'll notice subtle changes in their behavior. If you suspect something, get prompt veterinary attention. Even if all is well, you should schedule regular vet checkups and vaccinations. Keep your kitten's living spaces clean and free of possible hazards, and watch for telltale signs like changes in appetite, bathroom behaviors, and the like, and act accordingly. Number 6 is the final challenge we'll focus on today: destructive behaviors. Kittens may engage in destructive behaviors such as scratching your furniture or climbing up your curtains, or, in my case, climbing up the blinds on the door. Yeah, that's my boy Jack being mischievous as a kitten. This was during one of his most unruly periods. He was tough to break some of those destructive behaviors. He tested my patience almost daily. Those were challenging times for us. So how did we get past it? I'm going to give you 3 tips, but also my observations. Take it for what it's worth, but from my experience, this is my belief. Destructive behavior is dependent on your cat's personality. In contrast to Jack's destructive behavior, my older cat, Maxie, wasn't destructive at all. Her personality was less needy than Jack's. Jack is only happy when he's the center of attention. He's the jealous type. For example, if I want him to come, all I need to do is yell for Maxie. He hears her name, he runs as quickly as a dog would. But if I call his name, he pays no attention to it. How's that for jealousy? Maxie's personality is more even-tempered, and that made her very easy to raise. She was playful when she was younger, but I can't remember a time that she ruined anything in my home. It's not her personality. So in my experience, I think your level of success with this challenge is a bit out of your control because it'll come down to their individual personalities. With that said, here are 3 tips for success. Provide plenty of appropriate outlets for your kitten's natural behaviors, such as scratching posts and climbing towers. Idle minds are the devil's playground. Use deterrents, like double-sided tape or citrus-scented sprays, to discourage unwanted behaviors. And be patient and consistent in redirecting your kitten's attention to acceptable alternatives. And I'll add one more. Play with them frequently and play as hard as they want to play. This will tire them out, and it'll reduce the chances of them getting bored and destructive. If you're planning to raise kittens, or you're raising them right now, I wish you success and happiness. By following these tips, you'll avoid many of the pitfalls. Kittens are rambunctious and adventurous, and while they're endlessly entertaining and adorable, they can be a handful. Be patient and kind to them, and it'll pay off for both of you. And don't give up. With patience, dedication, and the right guidance, you'll get through it together, just like we did. When I think back to the issues that my Jack caused 8 years ago, I wouldn't trade a thing, because I wouldn't have Jack in my life. Before we go, let me leave you with a thoughtful question, especially if you're new to raising a cat or kittens. Do you know what they're saying to you when they meow and purr? You might think you do, but there are many meanings to both. Have a look at this video to learn more, and I'll see you there.